Georgia is a very interesting team because of all the teams in the country that have an elite backcourt, whether it's Alabama or Kansas or Houston or Arkansas or Texas Tech or whoever else, right? Of all the elite backcourts in the country, you're not going to see a team like Georgia that is 8-8 and unranked in their conference. Unranked nationally, but 8-8 in their conference, towards the lower half of the SEC, and 20-9 overall. So with that being said, it would be easy to overlook this Georgia team, but I don't think that's wise. You could make the argument that they have the best backcourt in all of America in terms of the totality of their 4 or 5 guards that they play with. We're going to take a look at their team, at some of the things they do well on film, some of their weaknesses and areas where other teams could take advantage of them, and areas that they haven't necessarily grown in. But we'll do a quick overview of the team. They score at a very high pace. They play run and gun, shoot threes early in the shot clock, will shoot a lot of pull-up threes in transition, very aggressive offensively, and they are top 4 in the country in scoring 89.7 points per game, and they give up a lot of points too. They're in the bottom 60 nationally in points allowed. Out of the 365 teams, Georgia's right around 303rd, giving up 78.4 points a game. So they score it at a high clip. They give up a lot as well, right around 78 points a game. In terms of their points per possession and adjusted offensive and defensive efficiency, they're 20th nationally adjusted offensive efficiency and 88th in adjusted defensive efficiency. And in terms of their roster construction, their personnel, their makeup, it's a lot of firepower from the guards and one big man who shoulders a lot. And we'll quickly do a rundown of what's going on. You got Jeremiah Wilkinson, who's the head of the snake. He's only 6'1", but don't let it fool you. He is among the most aggressive and explosive in terms of ability to score players in the whole country. He's averaging almost 18 a game, less than 2 turnovers a game. And every time you watch Jeremiah Wilkinson, he stands out for the right reasons over and over and over again. Only 6'1", but can score from all 3 levels, from the 3 off the catch, get into the teeth of the defense and create. He's very crafty, very twitchy, very fast. Can finish. He's a lefty, so he can finish with his left in crafty ways. Like I said, you got Blue Kane, who's a bigger guard, 6'5", junior, 3 years with the program. Plays downhill, but can pull up from 3. Very athletic, very aggressive offensively. Complements Wilkinson well. You have Marcus Millender, also known as Smurf Millender, 12 points a game, shooting 46% from the field. Can fill it up from all 3 levels as well. Cannon Catchings, very interesting player, 6'9". He plays a little bit in slow motion relative to the other guards who just go in turbo mode all the time, kind of like Kyle Anderson, the former UCLA and current NBA player. Not in terms of his game at all, but just in terms of his movement speed relative to a fast-paced offense. But Catchings is really coming into his own. He's a transfer from BYU. I believe he was a 5-star recruit. He's 6'9", can play on the perimeter, play in the mid-post. And when he's having a good game, he can really fill it up. Then you got Jordan Ross coming off the bench, transfer from St. Mary's, also a talented guard who can score. Inside, kind of starts and ends with Samto Cyril. He's probably their biggest NBA prospect, 6'11", 260 pounds. Offensively, raw, but not very raw. He can catch the ball in traffic. He can finish through mild contact. He doesn't have much range, but he can, finish off of both hands, and dump-offs and blocks and dump-offs and dunks and putbacks. And then defensively, it's a double-edged sword with Santos Cerril, right? So if you watch Georgia play, he's going to jump out at you, but he a lot of blocks, but a lot of fouls, and it's been a problem for this team because they're so reliant on him inside that the games he does foul out gives them a lot of trouble. So if you just look at his box scores real quick, this is the foul column here. You got 4 fouls against Georgia Tech, 5 fouls against Clemson. I was at this game. They lost by 3 in overtime. Santos Cerril fouls out with a minute left in the second half, and it has a big impact on the rest of the game. 4 fouls versus FSU, fouls out against Long Island, 3 fouls against Auburn, 5 fouls against Ole Miss, 4 against Texas, 4 against Tennessee, 5 against Texas, 4 against Vanderbilt. So he's consistently fouling, a lot of ticky-tack fouls, a lot because he's really the only big out there for them. He needs to play with a little bit more verticality, but the flip side to that is he's a great shot blocker. He had 8 blocks against Arkansas, 6 blocks against Auburn, 3 blocks against Texas, 3 blocks against Tennessee. So he's kind of doing it all for them, and definitely a good player to track because of his physical tools. The rest of the roster inside is a little bit thin. You got Jake Wilkins, is Dominique Wilkins' son, but he's only a freshman and he's 6'9", plays more in the perimeter than inside. He's developing into his own. You got Dylan James, who's 6'9", 215, plays hard, but also developing, coming into his own, not necessarily an inside presence. Kareem Stagg is interesting, 6'8", 230, but he's a freshman. He does play inside and out, but to rely on a freshman in big minutes in these spots at high-level moments is not something that is fair to the freshman. Justin Bailey is a transfer from Nevada. He's 6'3", they list him here, but he's bigger than 6'3". So offensively, they are very proficient in a lot of areas, from 3, tough 2s, finish in the lane, kick ahead in transition. Defensively, they do struggle on the interior, and then also in the half court, they have a lot of just like they're in the wrong spots, like unnecessarily and kind of unjustifiably often. But to say that Georgia is out of any game, I refuse to believe it. They really can give anyone a fight because they're outside perimeter play, and if Santos Cerril doesn't get into foul trouble, they're really dangerous. Even just if you glance at their schedule here, they beat Auburn, they lost to Florida, but Santos Cerril only played 7 minutes. Lost an OT to Ole Miss. They beat a good Arkansas team. So it's up and down. The second game against Florida, Wilkinson, their best player, didn't play. They beat Texas. They beat Kentucky on the road. They lost to Vanderbilt, and they play against Alabama tomorrow night. So we're going to take a look at a couple games, and I think this will give us a good look at their team. So this is early in the season against Clemson. And right there, if you just freeze it right here, you got Santos Cerril up top. You got Cannon Catchings, Blue Kane, Wilkinson, and I believe this is Jordan Ross starting. It's either Ross or Smurf from Linder. I think it's Jordan Ross. But they got 4 guards and 1 big. So right here, Carter Welling is going to take advantage of Wilkinson, and just like that, their first weakness of not having many bigs on the interior other than Santos Cerril is realized. So now you're going to see right here, it's 27 on the shot clock. This is how they play. We'll rewind it a little bit here so you can see. Catchings, bang. And they press. I forgot to mention that. They press pretty much the whole game. Here again, you got Welling on Catchings, and they just let it occur. It's weird. But it is what it is. I guess it's you're going to give and take. Now they get the steal. Pitch, Justin Bailey. Just like that, they're up 18-8. If you watch their games this year, a lot of games, whether it's Arkansas, Texas, I think others as well, they played in this game. They get up to quick starts, and that can only serve a team well. Sometimes they come back, too, like they did in the Vanderbilt game. We'll take a look at that. But the point is, this is a microwave. This team is a microwave. They get hot quick. So it's not just threes. This is Wilkinson. This is how he plays, just to show you guys. In his grill, but that's every game he's doing stuff like this. So it's not just threes. Here's Wilkinson again, working inside, another bucket. They just kind of push at all costs. Wilkinson with the finish. So here you got Gottfried inside. Back-to-back possessions. He's taking advantage of the thin interior. Wilkinson comes off the screen, hits a three. And if you watch this, you'd think like, oh wow, like these guards are playing well, but this is what they do. This is the DNA of their team. Making tough shots. Catch and shoot, 4-point play. So, you know, they don't have any bigs to help Cyril, so it's all empty inside. He's just not in position. Welling's not the quickest player off the dribble, but he's one step ahead and there's a nice finish. I should mention that's Justin absent. I didn't cover him when I was covering the roster. And he seems to, you know, be able to at least provide a big body down low and finish when needed. And they're going to need him. They're going to need players like him to help out inside as much as they can. So transition 3, 23 on the shot clock. Smurf Melinder hits the 3. Cyril with the high ball screen. This is probably the best version of Santo Cyril on the offensive end right now. Diving to the hoop, making the play, using his athleticism, catching the ball on the go, getting himself and his teammates energized. Good rebound by Cyril and finishes. So this I didn't quite understand. What is Georgia doing? Like, it's tie game, 6 minutes left. Why are they blitzing Dylan Hunter here and putting 2 on the ball? I don't quite understand what's happening. Then Kane comes up, they're trying to speed him up, but like these half-court defenses, this half-court defense just didn't make much sense to me. And it gave him an easy shot. Like, this is way too easy of a possession, and these types of things are relatively consistent with this Georgia team, and it's kind of boggles my mind why. So they call it's a tie game with a minute left, and he picks up his 5th. It's a little bit questionable. I guess Hunter puts his knee into him, but he's not the most vertical. Then he comes down on him, and he can't believe it, but at this point, the game turns, and this is where it gets difficult for Georgia because it happens often. I'm not blaming Santo Cyril. It's just a reality of what happens with this team. It's a nice move by Wilkinson. So they have to play up because he's a threat from the 3, and he makes him pay. Well, this is to get him to overtime. Good pass to the freshman, and he finishes. Blue Kane, just like that, catch and shoot. Get back. And they're just back in it, pressing again. Now over here, no Santo Cyril is fouled out, and Gottfried just goes to work. Granted, it's R.J. Gottfried, one of the best back-to-the-basket players in the whole country this year, but still, the limitation is there for this Georgia team. Kane. Tough shot again. They're down 1. So that was the game against Clemson, and we'll take a little bit of a deeper look in some other games that they played to see what patterns are consistent and what shows up. The game at home against Arkansas, they beat Arkansas at home, and their offensive firepower is on display early. So first possession of the game. Just trying to get the slightest bit of space for their guards to operate. Next possession down. Swing, swing. 5-0. Next possession down. Good block by Santo Cyril. Guys out and running. So this is kind of like them catching their lightning in a bottle. Granted, it's against an Arkansas team that plays a similar style, so it's similar styles playing one another. But regardless, this is what Georgia's trying to do against everyone they play. Cyril can't catch it, but gets the ball back and finishes through Ewan. Dylan James, he can't convert, but Jake Wilkins, Dominique's son, coming through. And I think the bucket counts, or there was a foul beforehand. That's an encouraging sign if you're a Georgia fan. Dylan James doing that. What's this? So Kane gets past Acuff, dumps it off to Cyril. Great catch, even better finish. So they're up 28-14 on Arkansas. They end up winning the game. They control it pretty much for the entire game, with the exception of one run. Arkansas makes towards the end of the game. Wilkinson catch, fire, score. So they have McLaughlin, returning player. Jalen Washington, big man, transfer from UNC. A.K. Okereke, transfer from Cornell, can play inside, strong player. And then they got Tanner's really quick on the outside, and they got Nicola, a returning player. So let's see how this game kind of unfolds. Georgia's not able to win, but we're able to still get a good look at how they play. These defensive breakdowns don't make sense unless it's part of the scouting report that we don't know, to just lay off of, I think that's Okereke, number 10. But how does Kenan Catchings get kind of trapped or sealed by Samto's man? It's kind of weird leaving Eko Okereke wide open. And so a weak closeout and things like that don't bode well for this Georgia team, even if Blue Cane's able to do that. Smurf Melinder can't convert. They always have eyes on the ball, nose to the ball. Second chance opportunities like that all day for Georgia. What is the, well, look at this dysfunction. Everybody's all over the place. For what reason? They're just like trying to blitz the ball. You got Wilkinson trying to get back to his man. He's a simple pump fake, gets right by him. Euro step. It's just like, it's a little bit concerning defensively. Good pass. Nice finish by Dylan James. Okay, so he hedges out on his man. Never is able to. Kane kind of just doesn't continue to play, and they're playing 5-on-4 at that point. They got out-rebounded by quite a bit. Nice move by Tyler Tanner, which really hurt them in this game. So, Vanderbilt is able to really control the boards here in the first half, and they're up by 20. And then Georgia is able to make a real game out of it. Nice move by Wilkins. He's getting better as the season goes on. Nice move by Catchings. So that 20-point lead, look at that shot by Wilkinson. The degree of difficulty on these shots that he makes are significant. Just like that, they're down 9. What was this? Cyril in space. Good lob threat. Good catch radius. And it's really just more of the same. I think you can just tell how this game goes. Georgia tries to mount a comeback. They get really close, but they just can't play basic half-court defense. Their pick-and-roll defense is always like one step slow, letting the offense get a possession out of it. Like, what is this? Kareem Stagg is on the ball. Okay, what? So he just slips the screen and what? He just has an advantage now? Like, how does he get behind the defense? That's just not, that stuff's not going to win in March. I'm not trying to be overly critical. It's just frustrating because there's nothing sophisticated that's beating them. Nice catch by Catchings. Able to get the shot off and make it. Wilkinson answers like he's done all year. I think we're going to stop the video soon because it's more of the same. Wilkinson just keeps digging in, but they just can't stop Vanderbilt at the same time. So the game ends up really just going back and forth, but Vanderbilt is able to get a little separation here and there. Nice move by Jordan Ross. But this was just to illustrate Georgia's offensive firepower. Another Wilkinson shot. These are not replays. These are all separate plays that he's making. And listen, if they get the right matchup, if they can shore up their defense, they have enough shot makers in the half court to score with anybody. And if Cyril can stay out of foul trouble, they have enough offensive firepower to make any game interesting, especially on a neutral court. So that's kind of a look at the Georgia Bulldogs.